Okay, this is another fairly long one. So here's the millimeter centimeter ruler, and what we're looking at is a little bit complicated. It's moldy, but moldy on both sides. But it is a Ganoderma, and so that's the genus Ganoderma. And so, is it lucidum, or is it something else? So, lucidum is supposed to be one of the North American species. This is the herb of immortality, which is supposed to be a slightly different species, but David Aurora's book tells me that he thinks it's more widespread, and you'll notice that the stalk is not quite separated, but it's distinctive, and then there's like this little bump. So this is not a terribly well-developed one, but so this structure, so it's called the varnish conch. Is one of the more common names, and you see it has that striation in the fruiting body. So is this the one that's used in for medicinal properties or not? I'm not altogether sure. So to me, it looks very much like that. Some of the prettiest ones are grown, and so they definitely look varnished. This is one where you give it too much CO2 and it won't develop this fruiting body right here, this fruiting structure. So they look kind of like varnished coral, usually in this shade of brown, and so forth. And this looks a little varnished, perhaps. But as far as the species go, I tend to think that the Asian species are probably going to turn out to be genetically different. So if you're actually buying them, more than likely it came from a culture rather than the woods. But they're widespread, and in the humid eastern United States, I've seen them, and I've seen them poking out of roots on on trails. Actually, in the Tampa Bay area, the Hillsborough River area, I've seen quite a few. And I've seen a number in up here in the Panhandle, out in the woods. So we have certain Asiatic aspect here, and so it could very well be. But remember, a lot of mushrooms just clone themselves, but they do produce god-awful amounts of spores too. So is this something? And I cut it a little so you can see that the flesh is not white, which is a characteristic of some species. But also it could be that this is just a little fungusy. So this herb of immortality, which is, shaved and turned into a tea, is found in the eastern United States. So infrequently in the West. So it tends to be found on hardwoods rotting, and they certainly have hardwoods in California and the West, but it's a lot more humid, and it rains in the summer, and versus in California where it doesn't. So you'll see your mushrooms in the West primarily in the autumn and autumn through spring, versus spring through autumn in the West. So, but anyway, I thought I'd do that. So this is the what is it? I said varnished conch. I think of it as the herb of immortality, whatever that means. So anyway, I thought it was just an interesting structure, an interesting mushroom. I do enjoy them because they are they remain they keep their shape. Some of these conchs, other Ganoderms, I feel like David Aurora's book desperately needs a update. I do enjoy his keys because it's either it has these characteristics or it doesn't, which is not as straightforward as a lot of keys are. But I feel like this mushroom, this Ganoderma, the genus is too big, too many distinctive characteristics, because a lot of Ganoderms do not have this type here. So I feel like it should be in a different genus or something to that effect. So, but anyway, keep that in mind.